Morning. Today is October 7th, 2025, and present with us is the road crew supervisor, Bear. So we're going to start off with what you have to say, Bear. What's going on in your department, sir?
Oh, it's what's not going on. I was just saving that meeting real quick. So just continuous request for grading. I mean, it's kind of the way it is this time of year. If we haven't got there yet, we haven't got there early enough. And some stuff we've graded and we go back a couple
Step
days.
Gay, join the meeting.
A lot of times it's already blowing back out just because of how dry everything is. We're fighting water left and right.
Yeah, and you're dry and then you get a storm and then you got too much water over there.
Yeah. Too much water has not been a problem. It's dry everywhere. A lot of places we traditionally get water are running dry. So we're having to take longer trips to get water. It's pretty rough right now for grading roads. We did have a couple of requests for some additional speed limit signs. I think Big Dipper was one of them, and there's a couple others. We're looking at them. I don't know if we're ready to just start putting signs everywhere unless they're warranted. But I've got a draft of the updated speed limit ordinance for the county that to Steve. So he's reviewing that. So we kind of want to wait till unless there's something that really needs one, we're going to want to wait until we get that done. So we're not having to replace it all. Once he gets review of it, we'll make any necessary changes and then we'll present it to you gentlemen for review, and then we'll bring it to the commission for approval. And that just reflects the legislative changes that were made a year or two ago for what speed limits we can impose. Just some crew updates. Montana City being down a water truck, I haven't been able to really do any grading, but they've been doing a lot of pothole repair and patching. We've been doing hot mix patch up until last week, and now it's a little too cold for that, so we're doing full patch repairs.
What area is that? You're doing that in
All
Montana?
over Montana
All
City,
over.
yeah. Just anywhere that we weren't able to get to with hot mix already.
Okay.
There were a bunch of dead trees that were leaning pretty bad up in Forest Park, and we had the man lift rented last week to help IT, so we got up and got those taken down before they caused a big problem. And we did have them down Thursday and yesterday helping IT with fixing the antennas there at the solid waste site so we get internet back to the White House shop. So it sounds like we finally got that potentially resolved. Boulder guys, we've been blading pretty heavy. I've had Rory in since Ryan's been out guiding for the last month. We got pretty much everything other than they're working on the whitetail right now.
Oh, okay.
And we'll be working on that for the next couple of days. And then once they get done there, I'll probably be sending the water truck to Montana City if we don't get the parts to fix theirs this week, so we can get caught up there. But once we get that done, we might try and hit the subdivision up on Depot again one more time before snow flies. But other than that, everything's been graded. It should be good. I do have Ryan up with the other blade today working on McCarty Creek on that lower section up to the state chunk. Just trying to get that road in a little bit better shape for us to get our equipment and trucks in this fall to do work on some of that road closure and those culverts and some of the other grant work. Let's see, Whitehall, they've been grading pretty heavy too. They got Leon down helping Jim so we can keep going on that. But we did spend the last couple of days cleaning up a bunch of brush and branches that we had trimmed earlier this summer, so Jill's weed sprayer could get back out there.
There is Piedmont, one of them on grading in Whitehall. Piedmont, or I mean, Park Castle.
Yeah, just the dirt poor. It's not, most of that road is asphalt. There's just
Right,
a couple of bad
right.
patches.
Yeah.
We're looking at some ways to repair that without having to dig the entire road back up.
Okay.
So part of that, and I forgot to put it on here, I did get a call from MDT a week or two ago. They're moving forward with more than a mill, kind of a complete rebuild of the interstate from the Whitehall interchange to I don't know if they're going all the way to the Carville interchange or to where 69 would run across. But there's about 9,000 yards of millings that we're gonna get off of that project for that area.
Nice.
So most of it we may just stockpile so that we can take to other areas of the county. But Parrot Castle is one of those that we're gonna go in on those thin spots and build it up like we did the rest of the road. That one, and there's a couple spots on Hot Springs that got a little thin, and some other roads. We're looking to do more repair work than we are just going and turning roads from gravel to asphalt. But that'll be a good chunk, but that is expected to let for bid next summer and then take place in the summer of 2027. So it's still a couple years out. I had a gentleman approach me last night about some continued complaints that we've discussed up on Depot Road, way up there where Mr. McKendrick lives, about junk and debris encroaching into the road and causing unsafe conditions and other potential issues up there. I'm not sure how to proceed with that because I've sent pictures and emails to everybody about it before, and we really haven't moved forward with anything. But he's got debris and junk right up to the road edge, and it causes, you get side by sides and hunters and trucks coming through there, and it causes a lot of close calls.
Is that a county road up that high?
That's the other concern or issue is, according to our records, yes. According to BLM, no. So the BLM claims it's their road from the end of the asphalt all the way over to where it used to drop into the Amazon. They do blade that road about once every other year. But we also blade the first portion of it and have done stuff historically. So we're doing a little bit more research on whose road it is.
I think the last time we talked to BLM, they asked us, okay, what's your road? What's part of your road? And we told them it was all the way up and over to, what's it over here?
Amazon.
Amazon and wherever that comes down there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they updated their records, but that was the last I heard from BLM on the road out there.
I talked to their road boss because he's my next door neighbor, and he says that they still show it as their road.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So he was supposed to be talking to, I think it's Patty, that's their right of way manager or something, to see if they could get some sort of answer. But I just told the gentleman that I would reiterate it, that there's some concern up there, and I think regardless if it's our road, there's still a junk issue. So I don't know how to move forward on that. I don't know if that's even really our problem, but just wanted to bring it back up to top of mind.
I'll mention it to Tim, say
Yeah.
people are starting to get a little upset about his stuff encroaching into the road there, and
Yeah,
either he can move it or there might be some paperwork after that.
right.
I'll make a note to talk to Tim about that.
Just a quick update. I think all three of you were up at Mako a couple weeks ago and heard about Mackers and our push for some meetings with the state concerning maintenance and compensation on state secondaries, as well as the sign responsibility issues. Was very happy to hear that Mako is officially joining with Mackers in fighting MDT on this. Or I wouldn't say fighting, because fight's the wrong word, but to be involved in the discussion and a path forward. MDT has been very receptive to the opinions of Macker so far. There's been some really good conversation, but it's keeping that conversation going and having the backing of Mako that's really going to help us hopefully come to some resolutions on who's responsible for what along these intersections of county and state right away. And in the bigger grand scheme of thing is concerns with the state secondaries like the Whitetail Road. There are other counties that have a lot more miles of state secondary that they take care of than we do, and they're not seeing the compensation either. And with the growing cost and limited resources we all have, it's really coming to the forefront of discussion now. So speed sign report, I just print off one copy. I can email it to you if you'd like to see it. Right now I've got one on McClellan Creek, just above the solid waste site as you're coming down the hill towards the site and the bridge there. And then also one on Lump Gulch, just above Sheep Camp. Or excuse me, Sheep Mountain Road. I want to move it down below Sheep Mountain once we get some data there, just to compare how many people are coming and going.
Which way is the one on Lone Gulch facing?
Going uphill.
Going up?
Yeah.
Okay. And McClellan's going down?
Yep. Lump Gulch wasn't too surprising. It is a 25 mile an hour, but I think most people don't want to drive 25 miles an hour on a dirt road. It was about 100 to 115 cars a day, so not a ton of traffic going up past that far. But of that, 65% were speed violations. But not anything that, like, there was 150, but most of them are in that 35 to 40 range, which is still speeding. The big concern, and I sent this to Tom and James already, was on McClellan Creek. In 1 week, there was about 7,200 vehicles went by there. Of those, 6,570 were speeding. So it's an 86% violation rate on that road, and it's not just the 5 miles an hour over. 3,000 of those were doing between 31 and 35 in a 25. And then another about 950, 970 were doing over 35 miles an hour. You know, we had 6 of them were doing almost 50 miles an hour down that hill.
Could you email that to me?
I sure can.
Is that 35 or 25?
25 right there.
25 at the
At the bottom.
bottom.
Yeah, so and that's kind of why I would put it there, was they're coming down and there's reduced speed signs ahead. You come around the corner, there's a 25, and then I put it halfway between there and the bridge. So plenty of time to be slowed down. We're
Yeah.
still seeing 40 miles an hour. You got a school zone just past the bridge. I had 4 people stop while I was setting up the sign telling me thank you because of how many people speed down there.
Yeah, and these numbers are with the sign off, isn't it?
Yeah, this was on stealth mode, so
I
I
had
turned
somebody ask me why it was off.
Yeah, so that was on stealth mode for the last week. I turned them on to flashing numbers and stuff yesterday. So we'll get another week's worth of data with the sign showing speeds.
See if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So did you guys get the data for Corbin?
I did. I don't have the report.
Deb.
in front of me, but it was
Okay.
bad. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't like surprising numbers. There were definitely a few, but the overall percentage, most of them were doing about 41 to 44, which is definitely speeding of the
Yeah.
violations. But I don't have that report in front of me, but I believe I sent it to you guys last week or something.
I can send it to you, Deb, if you're curious about it.
Okay. Yeah, I was just always also curious. I don't think we turned that around going the other direction either.
No.
At least
We
not
got
that I
so-
saw.
I got so many places in the county that I'm trying to get caught up on getting some sort of
Yeah.
data. It's hard to commit it to there for a month.
Was the,
Yeah, I mean, I think you could do it for 2 days during the week between 7 and 9 a.m. going the other direction, and you'd have statistically significant data.
what
But-
way did you have facing up there?
Going up the hill.
Going up, okay, got you.
Cause we get it, that's where I had other people complain that they come out of the 25 and hit the straightaway on Corbin and then gun it going up the hill. And so that's why we did it.
Yeah. I mean, what I see is people going into work on weekdays, going into Jeff City from wherever they're coming up Corbin. I mean, this morning, I mean, I could tell you there was probably, 25 cars that were definitely going faster than 35. So that's what I see sitting right on Corbin.
Yeah, we'll get it back up there, Deb, and we just got every drainage in the county is hollering at us for the speed sign right now, so we're trying to spread it out
Yeah.
a little bit, but
Yeah, I definitely think once you turn on the slow down, here's your speed, that people slow down too. So
yeah, we'll figure that
stealth
out.
mode is nice.
Yeah, it gives you a good idea.
Yeah, so I mean, if you wanna look at these at all, the one side shows your daily traffic count. And then the other side shows kind of a total of that, and then your speed violations, max speeds. Average speeds and whatnot. I'll email it to you as well.
Okay.
Um,
I just, again, we're willing to talk to Tom ourselves he lives up here. Just to, at least get people in the 40s, not the 50s or 60s. So, appreciate it.
Yep.
Is the-
Um,
Great. Yeah. That's great. Oh,
so I don't know if Pat's reached out to or talked to you all about, he's been getting pricing on flooring for the central shop.
Yep.
He came over this morning, said the low bid for the carpet was about $5,500. He was gonna follow up with you. Talking with Jill and Mike, we were just concerned, is this something we're coming out of the budget for, or is this part of that money we were talking about before? Okay,
ARPA money, yeah.
okay,
Need
that
to
makes
spend
sense.
ARPA money.
Perfect. And then he's working on getting a couple more bids on doing the epoxy and the break room and walkway areas,
Right.
so.
Yeah, that was one of my big projects that I wanted to get done when we had this extra money that we had to get rid of, so.
Yeah, and it definitely needs it. You've been out there
Oh,
to see
yeah.
how bad it looks.
Absolutely.
So,
No, it's due, so
Okay.
since we had this extra money, I figured we'd get her done.
perfect. I just wanted to follow up real quick on Sawmill. I know we were kind of wanting to find some information on whose road it is before we set anything up. Talking with Ladana, we have nothing that designates that road one way or the other, whether it's private, public,
Hmm.
county. We have not found any documentation that designates what that road is. Whatever she had looked at before was the closest thing we had to any kind of proof, and it shows that it's not being a county road, but we do not know if it's public or private. I'm assuming, which I hate to do, that it's a public road because it is on some old maps, but it's never been listed as a county road.
And they don't have any paperwork to prove otherwise, right?
Nobody that I've talked to has any kind of documentation.
It was Warner hitting us up last time, wasn't it, at the meeting?
Right,
There's
right,
multiple
right.
people hitting me up every week about grading that road. Yeah, we get a lot of calls on that road.
Well, if it's public, that would make it nice to be able to put a RMD up there, but
Mhm.
if it's public.
Yeah, and it might come back to some similar conversation that we had with Heidi Way. If it's not designated and they want it to be able to be an RMD, they'd have to designate that easement for public use.
Right. Or
It's-
they can put a gate on it if they want.
Yep. Then the last thing I had, I don't know if I thought I sent out a copy of our draft road standards that we're working on. I just wanted to make sure you guys saw
You do.
that.
Yep.
Yep.
That's something that, we're definitely out of date on. So we need to look at getting that updated, and it'll kind of coincide with the subdivision regulations that Lydia's working on, so. That's kind of all I got right now. I mean, there's definitely more, but. We could be here all day talking road problems.
Did they have a chance to get up to Corbin and fill in those bad, not really bad, but deeper holes with the Durapatcher? Did they do that? Or do you know
Yes.
anything? They
Yeah.
did that, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been up
Yep,
there since.
they did that.
Yeah, they were up there, I
Hey.
think it was the next day.
Go ahead, Deb.
Yeah. Hey, Corey, just a question and kind of related to the speed on the road. You had talked about having a meeting, a public meeting, to let people know that if they want to maintain Corbin as a hard surface road, that we'd have to consider an RMD. Are you still planning on doing that? And it just might help people to understand that, if they're driving fast on that road, it's just going to deteriorate faster versus a slower speed limit. Just wondering if you're still going to do that.
I plan on it, Deb. My stop right now is our planner is extremely busy with other projects, and she's trying to get me a map of affected properties up there so I can send out notices for it. So she's gonna draw a geographical boundary on the map that shows who's benefited from Corbin Road, so they can all be part of the conversation, because that's probably the map we'd use to form an RMD if that's the direction everybody up there wanted to go. Plus
Yeah.
it also gives us good numbers, if we want a chip seal, that's gonna cost everybody $300 a year, or it's gonna cost everybody $600 a year. It gives us a good baseline to go by, so. Until I can
Yeah.
get her to come up with that map, I'm kind of stuck right now.
Okay.
But since we're
Just
chip
curious.
sealed up
Like I
there,
said,
and, we're good. That's a project, probably a winter project for me, so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just think if people know they're gonna have to pay for it, they may treat the road a little bit differently, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if the speeding's so bad as the cement trucks and all that. That's the big one.
Yeah, but those cement trucks are not driving 35 either, so at least if the homeowners know that they're having to pay to maintain that road, they might have conversations with their contractors as they're tearing up the road with their trucks.
Oh, that would
So.
definitely help.
Sorry.
Deb, has there been any discussion with any other of your homeowners in regards to what this conversation's about that you're talking about?
Just our subdivision. So that's, 7 folks. I've kept everybody in
Okay.
our subdivision up to date. And I have mentioned it to the folks that I've been kind of in contact with up in the Meadowlark subdivisions. But I don't know if they've generally, talked about it or not. And then of course the other 3 or 4 subdivisions up here, I don't know that they have any understanding of what's gone on with Corbin. So
Okay, thanks.
yeah, you bet.
Do you have a sign list, your speed sign? Do you have a list of places for where you're gonna place that? I'm assuming you're getting a list going, or is it just in your head?
Yeah, it's more just in my head, places that I know we've been getting a lot of complaints about. Like we know where we get the calls for, so it's just kind of,
Cause Gruber Estates, I can't remember who called me on that.
I thought it was Pam that was here to ask
Was it
about it.
Pam that mentioned it when she was here last time, maybe? Have you had any time to mess with the flap, trying to get our engineer to start working on flaps?
I think I had mentioned it to Carl last time I saw him, but
Okay.
we've both been.
Let me know if you need help with that, cause I don't mind working with Carl and seeing what we need to do to start getting some of those. I don't know when the flap grant starts and stops and all that, but it'd be nice to have
Who knows if they're gonna do them again too.
that's true. With the government all in shambles right now, we don't know.
Yeah.
The only other thing I had was one of the residents of Travis Creek said those nice chevrons we put on the corner were gone. Did you notice that? Or did
Chevrons?
those corner things that the state put in for us to maintain?
I don't know.
They were all.
They were just up
complaining.
there working and they didn't mention, my guys didn't mention those being gone. We pulled a bunch of delineator posts out. Cause they put them right on the road edge and we had to clean ditches.
Oh,
So we pulled a bunch of delineators, but
well, they just thanked me for getting rid of those signs because they were eyesore or whatever, and I'm like, I didn't hear that, so.
I'll get up there. I gotta head that way this week anyways.
Unless they were talking about the delineators, but I thought because it was after that grant thing where they were gonna put up those
Yeah.
corner signs and they were all screaming about them, and I said, well, that's a state deal and whatever they did, and.
Yeah,
then
we wouldn't have pulled the chevrons. I know we pulled some delineators, but we wouldn't have pulled the chevrons.
okay,
And those are part of that agreement that we gotta make sure those are up.
right,
Yeah.
so yeah, that struck me as odd that those would be gone, but
Yeah.
maybe he was talking about something else, but check it out anyway and just make sure
Yeah.
they're not, somebody didn't take them down.
Yeah. Unless it happened since we were up there, which I don't imagine. I mean, it was last week or so.
No, this message was probably at least 2 weeks old, so it's been a while.
Yeah, we'll make sure we take a look into that.
What about the signs for no parking we were talking about on Martinez Gulch?
I sent a follow-up today. I ordered those a while ago and I haven't seen them yet. So I'm waiting to hear back on why they're taking so long. Yeah, they have been. They should be in here by now. As soon as they show up, we'll get them in the ground.
How about Sleepy Hollow, did you get that scour plan back to MDOT?
Yep, we're good to go there.
That's another community meeting I have to have with those folks up there working on that. If you look at the floodplain map, that particular culvert like backs the water all the way up to the, what is it, Hanging Tree or Hab Lane or whatever, that bridge, I don't know if you've
Half Lane.
seen it.
At the bottom, yeah.
It's a pretty big, or a pretty, yeah, big, what do you call it? Bottleneck or slow down there for the creek. So.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll have to work on that. Trying to think if there's anything else going on. Oh,
I haven't had much.
the gentleman at Warm Springs was asking if you're gonna be able to grade since we got all the moisture, and I hadn't had a chance to talk to him or you, but I'm assuming you're just grading as fast as you can now and you'll get up there as soon as you can.
Yeah, well, and that, like I said, that, the contract portion of that, that's kind of our last priority.
Right. I figured you're probably going grading as fast as you can
Well,
up north.
No, we haven't graded at all without a water truck.
Oh, even with the moisture you got.
It's not enough moisture to.
Oh, there wasn't enough in there?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it'll, once you start cutting with that little bit and start blending it, that moisture just disappears.
Mhm. Okay. He said he had snow and everything else up there, so I don't know. If it's
They probably
different-
had a little bit
different
up on
than
top of it.
altitude, but I'll just let him know. We're just waiting on the water truck and time.
Yeah, we've got a list of things that in our eyes are higher priority that need to be done, just not grading. On our county roads. So even though we haven't been grading, the guys are still running around trying to get everything else caught up that we haven't been able to get done this summer. With all the other projects we've been doing and being shorthanded.
Sounds good. Yeah, I haven't really had too much going on.
Good. It's real good. And then that's 2:00 on the 21st was that other meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. See, great.
I think it's 2 o'clock, yeah.
Did you guys ever figure out if you're gonna pull the ditches on the chip seal? Was it McClellan and Jackson Creek? Were you guys gonna rip ditches onto the?
Oh,
If that.
Glad you
happens,
mentioned
that's- Yeah, that's not gonna be a this year project for
Okay.
sure.
I did have somebody call me about that, but the other thing they talked about was above. Trying to think of the name of the road and it just slipped my mind.
Oh,
It's above
Jackson?
it's above Saddle Mountain Drive where that hump is in the road.
Mhm.
They said that's a problem, especially when it gets snowy and icy.
Yeah, we kind of patched that up pretty good a few years ago and it hasn't been even like it was. I mean, it's still not perfect, but we'll take a look at it. The problem is to fix it, we have to dig up that whole section of road. And close the road for a day.
Well, I told him I would talk to you about it and
Yeah, I mean,
it's a pretty, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's pretty good humping when they come,
yeah.
obviously with the speed signs, you know what they're doing on the road.
Mhm.
And as soon as it gets icy, they hit that bump and he said it just sends them all over the place.
That's something I failed to mention, but I wanted to mention on McClellan Creek is when we're getting these calls of all these slide offs and issues with the snow and ice on that road. We need to remember how they're driving on that road.
Yeah, okay.
As good as we make it for them, they're gonna drive faster. And so we want to make sure that just because people are sliding off and having issues on the road, it's not because of the condition of the road.
Maybe that's another place we could put a sign. If we can't do anything about the bump, maybe sign it, say. Bump ahead or something.
There are
slow down.
signs. There are bump ahead signs.
So,
Yeah, it's unfortunately, we can't fix people's driving habits. As much as we try. But it's a bump, but it's nowhere near what it was 4 or 5 years ago.
How is that road holding up?
As good as the rest of them.
Is it?
That's one that looking at it, I think, if we can get a flap grant would be fantastic on that road, because then we could go in, fix all the drainage, have that road milled up and have it laid back out. Whether it's double shot chip seal again, or we get enough to actually pave it, so either way. If it's something we have to do on our own dime, it's probably gonna be a similar situation to Corbin, just handled differently to where we come in and mill it and turn it back to gravel and put some stabilization to it and then try to have it re-chip seal the end of that, shortly after.
Season, yeah.
But it's gonna be inexpensive. Like, we're gonna have to plan on a way to do it to make sure we can cover the cost.
Yeah.
We can't just go in and overlay it. We can't go in and just fill a bunch of potholes. It's gonna have to be tore up and redone.
That one's all rutted out too. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of fun.
Yeah,
If the state would do some milling up north, that would be nice. We could use some of the millings for these bad roads.
yeah, it'd be fantastic, but even at that, you know, we could throw millings on top of McClellan, but there's gonna be other issues associated with that. And a lot of the millings we're starting to see coming off of these more recent highway projects, they're a different type of asphalt emulsion. So you have to put some sort of rejuvenator back into them to get them to work right.
Yeah,
So
we'll
they're
stick
still,
down.
free millings are not free millings.
Right.
That's why we're looking at doing repairs instead of complete overlays. Just because it's not gonna, you know, we're talking 20-30 grand in oil to put all these millings down. Not gonna get any cheaper or easier.
That's true. Nothing's getting cheaper by any means. For sure. Where's your sidekick today?
He's up patching because it's just him and Dale for this last 2 weeks.
Oh, gotcha.
Scotty had to trying to get some work done on his house before winter hit, so he took a couple weeks off. We have had, I think, 4 or 5 applications turned in for that position, but 3 of them do not have CDLs. 1 has 0 experience, but there are a couple good applications, so we may look at doing interviews sooner rather than later. And there's a couple good applicants from, I think one's from here in Boulder and one's from Clancy.
None of them have CDLs.
Most of them do.
Oh, do
They're
they?
out of the, like I said, I think there was 5 and 3 of them don't,
Oh, okay.
but there are 2 that are really good qualified candidates, so.
Good.
Or at least appear so on paper.
Yeah, you never know, huh?
Yeah.
Kelly and Steve are gonna come over and talk to us about an issue if we're about done.
I think we're done, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Barry.
Get out of here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Deb.
you.
Oh, Deb's gone.
You
Bye.
adjourned then. Thank you.
What's Deb's last name?
Pardon?
What's Deb's last name?